everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kiera Rose, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about how I actually found God and how my walk with God has changed me in more ways than I could ever imagine. Before I get into that, I do want to just talk about a little about my background before I actually found the Lord. Growing up, we did go to church from time to time. My mom did have us in church, me and my sister, my older sister. We did go to church from time to time. When we were younger, we were in the church more often than as opposed to when we got older. When we got older, it wasn't really something that we were interested in doing half the time. If we did go, it was, just a snooze fest, just boring. It wasn't anything that we really connected to. And so time went by as we got older in our adult lives, and not necessarily my sister, but I really wasn't going to church. I really didn't go to church. I didn't know the Lord. I didn't know God. I was always familiar with God as far as, I knew there was a God. I knew about God. I knew there was a creator and a higher being above all of us. But I didn't really have my own relationship, in a sense. I didn't really know too much about the word. I never read the Bible. So it was nothing that I really was interested in, honestly. And so just growing up and just maneuvering through life, just navigating through life, I really didn't have a relationship. Again, like I said, I knew there was a God, but I was never a spiritual person. I was just not interested in any of that. I wanted to live my life how I wanted to live. I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And that's just what it was. So, fast forwarding to last year of January, when I was in my hometown. I'm originally from Akron, Ohio. So January hit the beginning of the year 2018, and I don't know just what came over me or what happened, but I remember I was actually at my boyfriend's house, and I was just laying down or just sitting in the bed, and just an overwhelming feeling, like just a feeling that I've never felt before, it's just something came over me. Something came over me. I don't know if I started to panic or I don't know. It was just an overwhelming feeling. I can't really explain it. To this day, I can't explain it. But I just knew I had to get out of that house. I had to get up and I had to leave the house. So we ended up getting up because he went with me. And I just told him, like, I got to get out of here. I need to get out of here. I need to get out of this house. I can't be here anymore. I need to get out. Not necessarily knowing what I meant by that or why I felt that way, but I just knew I had to get out. So we jumped in the car. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what was going on. I just got in the car and just shot down the street. We live like probably 5 minutes away from the church, my mom's church. I just shot down to the church. Didn't know where I was going. Just drove down to the church for some reason. Another thing that I never really thought about was, like, I went to the church. Like, I didn't drive anywhere. I didn't go to my mom's house. I didn't go somewhere else. I literally drove to the church parking lot. I just sat there. I sat there for maybe, I don't even know how long I was there. And I just sat there in the car, and I was I just sat there. I got out the car. I just looked around. I looked up to the sky. I don't know what was going on or why I was there or what. Like, I didn't know. So I got back in the car, and I just sat there, and I just sat there, and I just sat there. And just all of a sudden, just a thought, just something, and I know now that it was God. Just the thought came over me, and it was just California. And the next words out of my mouth were, I'm going to California. I'm moving to California. In my mind, at the time when I thought I was going to California, I honestly did not know why I was going. I never saw myself in California, I was always going to go down south. That was my thing. I was going to go to Atlanta. I was going to go to Houston. I always knew I was going to move out of my hometown. I just always thought it was going to be for a different reason and a different place. So that was in January. I made up my mind. I drove home. I told my mom I'm going to California. Again, not knowing what I was going for. At the time, I was modeling. At the time, I was trying to get more into acting. So in my mind, it was like, okay, well, maybe that's what it's for. Maybe modeling, maybe acting. I've always loved music. Music was probably the first thing that I've always wanted to do. So maybe it may have been for that. I don't know. But I honestly didn't know why I was going there. From being in Akron, Ohio my whole life to transitioning to somewhere foreign to me, somewhere that I've only been once when I was probably, I don't even know how old, when I was young, to just going into somewhere where it's new territory, it's foreign to me. So January hit, I decided to go to California. I went home, I told my mom. That same day, I literally bought a plane ticket to California. Like, it was just made up in my mind. And again, like I said, the only thing I can say was that was God. Because in my mind, I didn't know how I was going to, I didn't know who I was going to stay with. I didn't know what I was going to do there. I didn't have a job set up. I didn't know where I was going to go. I just bought a plane ticket, and for some reason, I knew that I was going to California. So as time progressed, I was working still, so I was saving up my money, and at the time, my boyfriend, he was working, and he was, pretty much like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm coming with you, pretty much, in a sense. Like, because in my mind, it was like, I don't really know about what you finna do or what you about to do, but I feel like that was God. Like, I'm going to California. I don't know what I'm going to do out there. I don't know, but I'm going to California. And so he made it up in his mind that, hey, you going to California, I'm going too. So at that time, we were still working. We still saving up money. We still didn't really know where we were going to go. And then, again, the only thing I can think of is just God, because in the midst of us not really knowing where we were going to go, his friend, someone he hadn't talked to in years, someone he went to college with, just so happened to live in California, just so happened to be able to extend an arm, as they say, and just help us and welcome us and say, well, I got an extra room here. When you touch down, it's yours, pretty much. And so, by the grace of God, we were able to find somewhere to go. We were able to find somewhere to stay. So, again, that's just telling me, okay, Kiera, you're supposed to be here. You're supposed to go. You're supposed to, I don't know, honestly, still, I don't know what it was for, but you're supposed to be here, because if God is going to send you somewhere, he's not going to leave you. He's not going to just drop you off somewhere and just leave you. He's going to make sure you have what you need to be able to survive, or else he's going to send you back. If I wasn't supposed to be here, I would have got sent back a long time ago. I would have went back home a long time ago. But it's just things that started to unfold in my life was just, I know I'm supposed to be here. And so that was the first time that I really had an encounter with God. And I feel like that really was God telling me, okay, Kiera, it's time to leave. It's time to go. It's time to go into unfamiliar territory. You've been here your whole life. You're comfortable. You know the ins and outs. You know what it is here. So it's time for you to move. So in March 6th, I believe, my boyfriend, he was just to the point where it's like, you know what, it's time to go. I had bought a plane ticket. I wasn't supposed to leave until like 2 days later. But he packed up all his stuff and he said, you know what, it's time to go. And so I'm thinking to myself, okay, I bought a plane ticket already. But again, in my mind, it was okay. I'm ready. I was already ready. It was just a matter of, okay, I got to get the money. I got to still work. I got to save. So I was already ready. So at that point in time, okay, let's go. We pretty much knew where we were going to stay. So it was just like, okay, let's go. So we drove. We literally drove a day and a half, I believe. Like a day and a half to California. No looking back. No second guessing. No, it may have been something in the back of our heads that like, what are we doing? But it was a go. It was no looking back. I was not looking back. I knew exactly where I was going. Like I said, I didn't know what I was doing there. In my mind, it was just like, okay, maybe modeling, maybe this, that. But I honestly, when I got there, I did not know why I was there. Because I could have did modeling anywhere. I mean, I could have went down south like I had always planned, and it could have popped off down there. So, but it was California. So we made it to California. We stayed in a hotel for like 2 days before we actually drove, because his friend lived in a different part of California. So when we first got there, we stayed in a hotel for a couple of days, and then we went. Like his friend was calling, like, yeah, you might as well just come now, and we stayed there. So we were there for a good, I think, 2 months, because his friend actually was getting married, and they had decided to move down to. They had decided to move down to Miami. So we only had a good 2 months there. So while we were there, he was working. I was doing gigs as far as modeling. I was doing a lot of things for modeling. And that made me feel like, okay, well, maybe this was really what I was supposed to be doing. Because I was doing something. I was doing videos. I was doing, shoots and things like that. I was doing things that I had never really done before, as far as like on a bigger scale. So not necessarily bigger scale, but things were coming to me. It was coming to me. So I just thought to myself, okay, well, maybe modeling, maybe that's why I came out here. Okay, let me just get on that. Let me present myself a certain way. Let me do certain things. And so that's what I thought it might have been for. So fast forward, we're in a situation again where his friend is leaving in March, or not March, but his friend was leaving in May to go down. He got married or whatever, and to go down to Miami with his wife and his family and everything. So we find ourselves in the position again of, okay, well, where are we going to stay? We're still looking for apartments of our own. It's not necessarily the easiest thing to do in California. So we're just thinking, like, where are we going to stay? Where are we going to stay? So we were pretty much I don't want to say homeless, but we were homeless in a sense for like probably a week. We were in and out of hotels. And then again, by the grace of God, we were able to find somewhere to stay. So we were able to live comfortably. We were able to survive financially, and we were able to find a place to stay. So we found a place to stay. And again, before that, when I first came to California, it was just another thought in my mind. It was just something again telling me like I needed to find a church. I need to find a church. The area that we were in, I really didn't find one that I really wanted to go to. And honestly, I wasn't, it was a thought, but it had passed to where it's like I really wasn't pressed, or I really didn't care in a sense. So fast forward to we found a place, everything was good. He was working. I was still doing modeling. I was still trying to find different places, different things to get into. And then again, another thought came into my mind, like, okay, Kiera, you got to find a church. And you got to get closer to God. Like, you have to, again, like, I don't know where the thought came from. Like, that's the only thing I can think of was the Lord speaking to me. Like, you got to get closer to me. You have to find me. You have to seek me. And so, going on YouTube, for some reason, I'm on YouTube, again, the only thing I used to go on YouTube for was looking at makeup videos, looking at hair videos, stuff like that. Just going on YouTube like anybody else would go on YouTube. But for some reason, I start going on YouTube for motivational videos and how to get closer to God and how to build a relationship, because at the time, getting more into looking at these videos, it was more so, it's not a religion, it's relationship. You have to be in a relationship with God. And so I find myself just looking up all these videos, looking up motivational videos, looking up, you know, different Christian videos of just how to get closer, how to build the relationship, how to find him, how to walk with God, how to just be closer, how to know him. And so upon looking at those videos and finding those videos, I end up coming across Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts, her videos. I end up coming across her sermons. And it's like, again, going back to how I grew up, it's like I wasn't interested in none of that stuff. Like, I never watched sermons. I barely went to church. So it's like that stuff didn't really interest me. But I literally start watching her sermons and her videos literally every single day. Like, every single day. It was just like everything just hit me, just kept coming. Just every single day she had something that I could relate to. And it's just like... And so I called my mom and I'm like, you know, do you know this? I've been listening to her sermons. And then, of course, my mom knew of her, and she knew that was T.D. Jakes' daughter and everything. Like, I didn't know who she was. And I was just telling her, like, I've been watching her every single day. And so it was just like, I'm watching the videos, I'm watching the sermons every day. And it's still in the back of my mind. It's like, okay, Kiera, I gotta find a church. You gotta find a church. Not knowing at the time when I was watching her that they actually had a church out here. Her and her husband had a church out here in California. So I'm going on her Instagram. I followed her on Instagram. Couldn't really find too much if she had a church. And then it dawned on me watching her sermons and seeing where she was and stuff. And she would always say, like, 1 LA and the Potter's House on LA. So I'm looking like, okay, Kiera, just go Google it. Go on that handy dandy Google of yours and go find and see it where it is. And then, so I Googled it. I found the church, found out it was about like 20-25 minutes away from where we lived. And so I'm looking like, thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Because like 25 minutes, like, from being in California really isn't a long way. Like, so 25 minutes to go to church. Oh, we going to church. So I said to my boyfriend as soon as I Googled it, I text him, we're going to church this weekend. We're going to church this Sunday. And so went to church, fell in love, like, and just, it all just came into play. Like, it all unfolded, and I knew that I was supposed to be there. I knew that this was why I came to California. One of the reasons why I came to California. Probably the biggest reason why I came to California, because, I mean, a lot of things that I was around back at home, I don't know if it would have allowed me to grow or allowed me to really find God, because I've tried it over the years. Like, I've tried to, you know, read certain things, read devotionals. Like, I never was a prayer. Like, I never prayed. I never really knew how to pray. But, like, just getting into the church, like, I pray every day, like, multiple times a day. Like, I'm learning how to pray. I know how to pray. And it's just amazing to me how it's like everything just unfolded from just me driving to the church that one morning, just feeling like I had to get out of this place, this house, this environment, just in general. And then coming out here and just everything, how everything unfolded. You can't tell me that wasn't God. You just can't tell me that wasn't God telling me, you know, it's time for you to leave. You're in this position, you're in this space, you're in this environment, you're in this city, and you're comfortable. You're comfortable. You're resting on certain things that you're not supposed to rest on. You're doing certain things that you may not supposed to be doing. And so it was a way for me, I feel and I believe it was a way for me to grow. It was a way for me to find who I was within myself and find who I was in Jesus, in Christ. What type of woman was I? So getting into the church, it was a blessing, and it was one of the best experiences of my life, because what God is doing in my life and what He's taking me through in my life, it's just amazing. And I just can't wait to see just everything, just how my life unfolds. I just look back on the things that I used to do, and a lot of the things that I used to believe, and really reading the Bible and really getting into the Word and praying and going to church and getting involved in the ministries in the church. And it's just surrounding myself with that community and that family and that love, and that it's just amazing to me. And it's just, I love my life. I just love myself. I love how God has brought me into this season, and just a lot of things that I had to get rid of. A lot of things that I stopped doing because the Lord was working on me the last couple of months, and it's a lot of stuff that I had to stop doing. It's a lot of stuff that I had to get rid of, and it's a lot of stuff that I had to unpack. It was a lot of stuff that I had to forgive myself for over the years, certain things that I've done, and that'll be for a later video, but just a lot of things that I had to forgive myself for, a lot of people I had to forgive, a lot of things, a lot of situations that I had to forgive myself for even being a part of or even getting involved in. And so it was just a lot of things that I had to face, and a lot of things that I had to unpack, and a lot of things that I had to ask the Lord for forgiveness, things that I've done in my life. I did a lot of repenting. I did a lot of, not necessarily knowing why my life happened how it happened, or why certain things went on. And so I did ask the Lord for forgiveness, and I forgave myself, and I forgave people around me, it's just, everything is happening exactly how it's supposed to be happening, and I have no other person, no man, no nothing to really credit that to but God. That was God, that was the Lord, that was Jesus Christ Himself. So that's how I found God. In 2018, I found God. And in 2019, I plan to continue to build my relationship, continue to strengthen my relationship. And I plan to continue to walk out my purpose, find my calling, find, not my will. It's not about me anymore. It's not about what I thought I wanted to do in the world or thought I wanted to do in life. It's about what God wants me to do, and how I can use my gifts and my talents for His glory, and what I'm supposed to be doing in this world. Because I know for a fact, 100%, that I'm worthy to do whatever it is that He's called me to do in this world. And I'm supposed to be doing whatever it is. And I know that now. I know that for a fact, that I'm here for a reason. I wake up every day for a purpose. And so that is my first story, my first video of how I found God, how I found the Lord, how I have been blessed just over the past year of just being in the city, being in the state, and just finding a church, finding community, finding people around me that can relate, that I can relate to, just finding ministry and finding family. And I just owe it all to God. I'm grateful, and I am excited. I'm excited for this journey. I'm excited to move forward in my life. I'm excited to receive everything that the Lord has for me, and I am excited to do everything that He wants me to do and He needs me to do in this world. So thank you guys for watching my video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I will have more videos coming up in very, very soon. So God bless you all. Thank you.